Okay.
Yay, I'm so excited. We have a special guest today that we're going to be interviewing, Valerie Aloisio. And I'm going to just read her bio and give you a little bit of background about her. After a successful career in corporate America, Valerie ventured into the world of entrepreneurship 20 years ago and has never looked back. At the time, she was a busy single mother of 2 young children. She realized that in order to have the income, time freedom, and lifestyle she really wanted, she was going to have to go into business for herself. She immersed herself into personal and leadership development and eventually found the industry of network marketing and has been full-time ever since. You are a smart girl. Today, she's become one of the top female leaders in the industry, is a 7-figure earner, and enjoys mentoring and coaching others to succeed. She has become a passionate advocate of the network marketing direct sales industry, especially for women. Valerie is with a network marketing company that is involved in a new sector of the health and wellness industry globally and is passionate about educating others about the extraordinary health benefits of the products and the lucrative business opportunity attached. She's enjoying traveling all over the world, developing new markets and leadership teams, and experiencing the many diverse cultures. Valerie feels blessed to be involved in creating a legacy for the future. Yay, welcome to our call, Valerie. It's so nice to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
So why don't we start out by you giving us a little bit about your background, what exactly you did career-wise before you got into network marketing, and maybe a little bit about how you were introduced as well.
Okay, wonderful. Well, hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you. And so, yes, 20 years ago, I ventured into network marketing. And prior to that, I was in corporate America. I went to school, I got my degree. I got a great job working in human resources and management training and development. And it was just a great journey. You know, it's what you're supposed to do, right? That's what we do. And then a family came along and then, you know, without knowing it, just the rat race, you know, getting the kids to daycare, then picking them up and doing dinner and then doing the homework and then starting all over again. And that's okay. It was great. You still had the life. You still did everything. Super moms, you know. And, you know, after a while, it became a lot. And I think a lot of people struggle with that. On top of that, I had lost my mother to breast cancer 27 years ago, and that really got me. She was only 59 at the time. I was pregnant with my daughter. I had a 3-year-old. And that really got me very intrigued about the whole health and wellness aspect of raising our families healthfully, because that should never happen, right? I mean, that was a big deal. I'm one of 3 girls. I'm the oldest, and to lose your best friend, your mom at such an early age, obviously, it changes you. I know we were talking things that will change you. And then a long few years later came, you know, a divorce, and that further changes the situation. And then the company I was working with, went through a merger and they wanted me to relocate, and that wasn't a possibility. So I took a severance package at 38 years old and had to figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up. And it was because I was going through some health challenges that a friend introduced me to some products that were sold through network marketing. And she said, "Hey, Valerie, why don't you look at this as a business?" You know? And I said, "No, thank you. I hate salespeople. You know, I'll refer people to you, but this is not for me." And so anyway, long story short, she said something to me that changed my life. And she says, "You know, Valerie, a closed mind is a wonderful thing to lose. Closed mind is a wonderful thing to lose, because here you are complaining about this whole work-life thing going on. And here I'm serving up something to you, and you won't even take a look at it." And I was like, wow, that was like an eye-opener. And I said, all right, I'll come with you to a meeting and whatever. And that's when my whole career started in network marketing. And within about 18 months or so, I replaced my income and that I was making in corporate. And that decision was the best decision of my life. And I've been forever trying to help professionalize the industry because of what it meant to me. Getting my life back, getting a career in place, and raising children with an entrepreneurial mom was very important.
Wow.
Wow.
I love that. I wrote that down. I'm going to remember that.
Good, good.
Yes, I wrote that down too. A closed mind is a wonderful thing to lose. That is fabulous.
Yeah.
That is wonderful. And I'm sorry about you losing your mom too soon. Absolutely too soon. And I'm thankful that many of us have been more open-minded to health and wellness alternatives, taking control of our own health. And I'm thankful that we're in a time where there's more things available, more information available
Oh, for sure.
about that. So you mentioned you really didn't see yourself in this business because you didn't like salespeople. You didn't want to be a salesperson. But what did you think about network marketing? Had you ever had any experience or heard of network marketing, or what did you think?
It's interesting. A few years prior, my chiropractor at the time brought me to a meeting to learn about products. And I saw the circles on the board and I was like, oh my goodness, Larry, like, why are you great about the products, but look at this business model. And I came home that night to my former husband and said, wow, there's this whole model where, and it's kind of like, I don't get paid I'm in training and development. I don't get a residual on the people that I train at corporate, like, really. And he's like, oh, you're not going to get sucked into one of those things, are you? I mean, like many people hear from people who don't know, right? Everyone. I mean, oh, you're not going to do one of those things, are you? And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, but this makes a lot of sense. But, life is, and at the time I was still like winding down that corporate thing. And it just got in me. Like, I don't know. I'm like, that just made so much sense to me, the business of the business.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
so when I started, I just went to the 7-figure earners in the company and I said, teach me what I need to do. I don't have a lot of time to waste. If it's legal, moral, and ethical, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they said, follow the leader, follow the
Yeah.
leader. And as a type A Italian, that's not easy for me to do. I mean, and that's one of the biggest things. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. If you have a system, work the system and then work on yourself. And that's kind of what this industry, I think, saved my life. I know it saved my life because I was never involved in like really personal development stuff. All the stuff that you get when you join a network marketing company, all the
Yeah.
stuff that they don't teach you in school,
Right.
everything about you and being the best version of you and the mindset and the personal development. That is the key to success in this industry. Nothing else, so.
Yeah, it is. It is underrepresented in this industry for sure.
Yeah.
The amount of the personal development that you get that comes along with, and it changes you to a better you, like you said, and helps you in all aspects of life, not just what you're doing as a business. It helps you with your relationships, with your parenting. It helps you in all aspects of life for sure. Underrepresented. So tell us more about, if you had to say, what was it that appealed the most to you when you made the decision of, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go for this? What would you say appealed the most to you about this business?
Oh, the opportunity to be able to work when I wanted, where I wanted, and around my kid's schedule at that time, right? That's
Yeah.
really what appealed to me the most. And then, people saying, oh, you're never going to be able to do anything with this. Don't, this stuff is a scam. Like hearing all the chatter, I'm like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, well, a lot of what drove me is to prove them wrong. And then along the
Yes.
way, I learned, as I was learning that this was a really good profession. I mean, residual income
Yeah.
and leveraging, and you don't learn about that in school, and commitment.
Yeah.
Here I am very committed to this process because just if you guys see me doing this, it's because we have no
Yeah.
power
Yeah.
and it's 90 degrees outside and
Yeah.
I have no air conditioning.
Yeah.
But a commitment is
Yeah.
a commitment. As long as I had internet
Yeah.
connection, I was going to be with you girls. So anyway,
Yeah.
um,
Thank
but
you.
that's really what this was about, is about having that balance, and being able to become financially stable after a very rough time. And we all go through those times in our life. And then financial freedom along the way, and then being able to teach my kids entrepreneurship and the mindset that goes along with it. That was a big gift. That was a big gift.
Well,
Great.
I love the way you got started. I love that you had the wherewithal to know, to go to the top earners and say, what are you doing? Show me what I need to do. That's really a very intentional way to get the business started. So we know there's a lot of wonderful things about the business. What would you say is the most frustrating thing to you about the business?
Well, that where everyone's a volunteer army. This is a volunteer army, right? I can't hire you. I can't fire you. You know, I can choose to work with you. And I think one of the frustrating things, I think, for especially newbies, is they are very wanty. They want everybody in. They want everybody in. You know, they need them. They need them. You know, they need them in. And I think it takes a little while. And I think one of the things that we need to coach is to not have everyone be so needy. You know, it's a privilege to be able to work in this industry. It's a privilege to be able to work with you, or anyone for that matter, that's going to teach them something new. And I think the frustrating thing is a lot of people get set in their own ways. They're not willing to be open. I was very close to losing, never experiencing this wonderful gift called network marketing. Very close to saying no, and I'm very close to quitting many times, you know? So I think that's a very, a frustrating thing, is letting people know, listen, if you put in the time and effort it takes to build this, and it is network marketing, it's not, anything but, nothing, in life comes easy, if it's worth it, I think, and I think that is one of the biggest kind of pitfalls or frustrations, because you just want people to just get it. I just wish I could take 20 years worth and just put it in your head. And I think that's what I tell people. My job is to shorten their learning curve. And if they just will allow, to be coached and, hear the things that we did wrong and the things we did well, because we all did them, right? It was a learning curve, but it's unfortunate that too many people, I think, quit. That's another frustrating thing, before they really get a chance to experience the goodness of what this industry can be.
Yes. There are so many things that people don't understand until they get into this business. So what are the most common misconceptions that you encounter when you're talking to people?
The misconceptions, oh, well, they think it's the typical things, is, oh, well, I don't just get how you get paid, and the comp plan is too complicated, and they don't understand. And why should they? I mean, people are used to getting a salary. They go to work, they get do a job, and they get paid. Somebody determines that. And they just, getting them to understand that this is just another way of being compensated, not only for product sales or services sale, whatever you're in, but then also for leadership development, and that there's bonuses and there's commissions that are paid. And so I think it's getting people to understand the professionalism of this industry, because there's so much misconception about it. I think that's changed quite a bit. And I think our industry has also grown up quite a bit in the last few years, I think, it really has changed. I think very much value, purpose-driven and value-oriented is the messaging now. I think it always was, but it kind of got lost, I think, along the way, especially in the greed factors that times people can get thrown into. But now I think I'm very proud, especially of where we've kind of come the last few years, especially in this industry, about adding value, teaching financial stability first and foremost, and then moving on from there, depending on what somebody wants.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So why do you think more people do not succeed? What do you see? You've worked with and built a large team and supported a lot of people, coached and trained them. What do you see as the reason that people are not successful in this industry?
There's probably a couple, but the biggest is mindset. I'm sorry. I have to say, they just don't believe they can. And it's just conditioning. It is 90%, if not more. Mindset, tenacity, the willingness to work. I think sometimes oh, something should be handed to them, entitlement kind of mentality. And so I think that's probably, the biggest thing. And then people, like I said before, quitting too soon, not being coachable, trying to reinvent the wheel. I think we all do. And I tell people, listen, just follow the system, but put your personality on it. That's it. But that's very difficult for people to do, especially if they come from maybe high-paying jobs, or maybe their profession, or how they were raised, or whatever that case may be. As you know, we're dealing with people. This is a people business. you know, so.
Yeah, yes, I agree with you. We certainly do see that. And so often, and I think you said it earlier too, so often people are right before they have a breakthrough when they make the decision to quit and to give up. And then they, that decision to quit or give up doesn't give them the ability to experience what they may have worked for. And my heart breaks when that happens with
I
people, but
know.
that does happen.
The other thing I see, and I always try to tell people not to do this, is don't blame. A lot of people will
Mm-hmm.
leave because they're blaming, oh, the company doesn't have this, and oh, if the company just had that, and oh, if the comp plan did this, and oh, what? No, I mean, there's no such thing as one perfect company. Look, we all belong to
Mm-hmm.
different companies. I mean, and
Mm-hmm.
we all have great products and everything. And at the end of the day, getting started is getting started. I don't care if you're starting with A, B, C, D, or E company. I mean, it's just,
Mm-hmm.
every company has a process, and not everybody wants to follow a process. And I think that also limits their ability to be successful.
For sure, for sure. Well, we're thankful you did not do that and that you were open minded and that you were determined and committed to see it through and perhaps even driven by those that were skeptical. That's a great way to redirect that energy. So, very positive redirection there. So, how is your life different? How's your life different now than what it was before?
Oh, wow. Oh, just in so many ways. I mean, I'm not the same person that I was, 20 years ago. I'm like, I'm still Valerie, and I have my personality, and I'm a loving family member and all that other stuff. But I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a successful businesswoman. I would raise my kids in that fashion. They had me available to them, and they learned about responsibility and mindset, and they're so very successful in their chosen careers. Um, and having that work-life balance, although sometimes we work too much and we forget about ourselves. One thing about this whole COVID thing, although we'll probably date this interview, is the fact that we all had to stop and think and pivot and maybe remember that we have to take care of ourselves the way we have to take care of our team and our family. We have to take care of ourselves first and foremost, right? And I think sometimes when you're with a company and you're building and you're traveling, and you kind of forget that. And then you could get yourself,
Mm-hmm.
in that same situation that you had back in the day. I know a couple of
Mm-hmm.
times I had to catch myself. Burnout is very real, but it doesn't have to be. And the beautiful part of now what has happened is, where in our business, we work from home and we do our thing. So many people, especially during this situation, their lives have been turned upside down. And, ours really hasn't, maybe it has in certain ways or whatever, but when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to our business, we've had an increase month over month. I mean, nothing has changed except that now we're doing more of this instead of personal. But I mean, by building and then, making that decision, I made a decision that I wanted to achieve X, Y, and Z, and I set those goals, I hit those targets, and then readjust. And now my goal is to continue to help of course, our team members get what they want, and then we're going to get what we want. But having the ability to get my kids through school and having the ability to be at our beach house here and work my business, whether I'm on our sailboat or at the beach or traveling, is just a wonderful thing. And I think that's what, having that makes life much more enjoyable.
It's so true. I think we all feel very blessed by the freedom and flexibility that we have. So what advice would you give to someone who is looking at this business, maybe trying to decide if it could be a fit for them, or somebody that's maybe just gotten into it? Any kind of words of wisdom from
Oh,
Valerie?
oh, there's a lot. Make a decision and go for it. Make a decision first and foremost. Nothing happens without you making a decision. Step outside of that comfort zone or expand your comfort zone a little bit so that you can be open. And be open. Like I said, I almost missed this. So be open. Step outside of that comfort zone a little bit, be able to be coached and mentored by somebody who cares about your success, which when we bring people in, that is why we're doing it, Be choosy who you work with. But then make the decision and go for it. And as whatever comp plan that you may have, look at those goals, those ranks, make that decision, and work very closely with your support team to hit those goals. Let people know what it is and why it's important for you to hit those goals. And I think then a lot of great things can happen. So you got to decide first and foremost, then follow the leader, and then, you know, work this like there's just no tomorrow so that you can have what you want. And that's what this is about.
Great advice. So our closing question is, what do you think is the most important trait or factor involved in achieving success? What does somebody have to be successful in this business?
Wow. There's a lot of things. I don't know about just one thing. But again, I think it is knowing why you're doing this. And I'm sure a lot of the people that you'll have on the show will say that. You need to know why you're doing this so that you don't quit on yourself, you know, and it's not because you just want more money. You know, I think that really is first and foremost. Why? Let somebody know, let your sponsor, there's your upline support team know why you're doing this, and make a little pinky swear with them that they won't, you know, they'll do everything in their power to remind you of that so that you don't quit, you know? And so that's it. Being tenacious, confident, you know, but confidence can be learned. I mean, let's face it, as you know, be more, you feel more confident with the people you're working with, or trusting of the people you're working with. I think we need to build people's confidence up. And I think that's another, you know, reason, you know, or what needs to happen for you to have success. You don't need to have an outgoing personality. You could be shy, but as long as you know what you're doing and why you're doing it, then anybody's personality can fit into this type of a business. That's what I think.
Yay. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. It has been such a delight to have you here, and we really appreciate you sharing your wisdom with our listeners.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. Just go for it, everyone. It's worth it. It's worth the journey. That's for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye for now.